let me go back to.
You probably need to screen share.
Isn't that what we're doing on Cloud 9 right now?
You have to screen share after you start recording. It's going to use your webcam, and the YouTube video will show your face. But over
oh, screen share, I see it.
Hangout, right on the left. There's a taskbar. Second one down for me is screen share. So you have to set that up, and that will share your screen. So that's what gets recorded to the YouTube video.
Okay. I wonder which one I should choose. It has entire screen, Google Hangouts.
I think you just choose entire screen. Okay. That's what I did. And then be careful not to open financial information or something you don't want on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, that's me.
Okay. Present. Oh, I see.
Infinite recursion, yay!
Yeah. There.
All right.
Minimized you and brought up our Cloud9 or my Cloud9 that you're sharing on.
All right.
Okay. Are you? How much have you used Ruby?
I am not a Ruby guy. I'm new to Ruby, but I have real good experience in Python, so a lot of it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm learning a lot of the syntax.
Okay. So I guess RSpec is new for you too. Then the testing.
Yeah, I'm taking the course to basically learn about Agile and about Rails. So you know, my basic programming is real strong, but I don't know a lot of web stuff, or I don't know Rails, I don't know Ruby, and I don't know Agile really.
Okay. I've been doing Ruby for several months. I'd say that's probably my primary language, although I'm sort of pretty new to the whole coding world.
Great. So I can tell you how to do stuff, and you can tell me how to write it.
There you go. Okay, so do you want to start off? I guess we could start off by running the tests and watch them fail, and then we can write the code to pass the first test, and then.
Yep. Okay. Did you watch Sam Joseph's video in which he and somebody collaborated on this first function? Some.
Yeah, actually, I just saw it right before I joined here. I was that was gonna be my one complaint, is that there was no video that sort of just brought all this together, and then I don't know how I came across that right at the last second, but I saw a good portion of it, not the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. They were pretty thorough about writing minimum code to only pass their test.
Yeah, that seems to be the mantra.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make a point rather than code practically, but let's assume they actually have a point and try to do something maybe not so gung-ho, but similar.
Yep. All right, so I think first we run the test here, so I'm going to copy this. Can you see this screen that I'm on right now?
Hang on, I got to look at your screen share. Right now you have up a like a documentation.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't know.
I was looking at your Cloud9 stuff a moment ago rather than your screen share.
Okay, so I'm going to paste the running of the tests down here. Oh, I guess I have to. Install RSpec. Hang on, let me try it. Let me scroll up this. No, there it is. A scroll bar. Huh. Do you know how to do it, Dan?
No, you're trying to just execute the code and.
Yeah, I just ran the test and it gave errors, so we're supposed to look at the errors, but I can't move up this console to see the errors, and I can't find a.
Oh, really? There's no scroll bar, and if you just hit the up arrow, it doesn't do anything for you, or
That'll just bring up the.
oh, yeah, okay, that gets right previous commands. Yeah, okay.
You want to try because you have control over my console too, I think.
I have control of your console. Let's see.
I mean, I guess just click out to the right somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, can we actually grab this and drag it up? Yeah, okay.
Oh, nice. Okay. So first, cannot load such file. What directory are we in?
Part1 spec.ruby.
Oh, okay. I was in. Whoops.
Wrong directory.
Okay, yeah. So let me try it again. There we go.
All right, that looks better. So what did you run to do that? Let's see.
What did I do? Are you asking what I did?
Yeah, sorry, I can hit up and see your command. So it's rspec, and I don't really know about that command. That's a Ruby thing?
Well, that's an RSpec thing. It's a testing, I guess, library for Ruby.
Okay.
So the command is rspec, and then you just direct rspec to the testing file, which they have already set up for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it looks at your code and runs tests against it, and then gives you flip queries. Although I'm still, what did you do last time, Dan, to pull it down? Because I think there's still some stuff above that.
I put my mouse cursor right at the top, and I can drag this window and resize it.
Can you go up any higher?
That's as high as it'll let me go right there, I think.
It's annoying. Huh. How are you supposed to see what's above that? I know there's something above.
Why don't you pipe the output through more? Do you know how to do that in Bash?
Yeah. All right, let's do that. Can you just do it from here, you think?
Probably.
Oh, cool.
There you go. Then you hit Q if you don't care about what's underneath.
Okay. So it says
some should be defined.
So that method hasn't been defined. So I want to start with that.
Okay.
So I'll go over here. Well, actually, it has been defined.
Is it looking at the right file even?
Oh, that one didn't fail. I'm sorry, that one didn't fail. It was the one below that would fail. Returns correct sum. All right, so it's just basically asking for us to put code in. All right, so we're going to take the argument that's an array. They're sending us an array of 1, 2, 3, I think whatever it was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're supposed to return the sum. So I guess one way I know a Rubyism for that. I can try that. Let's see. So if array is all right. I think that was the command that I remember. Whoops. So I'll run it again.
Yep. All right, so it passed that one.
Yeah. So.
Great. So you want me to do the second one?
Yeah. Or yeah, if you want to.
All right. First, let's refactor your first line because you don't need return. So that ought to work, I believe.
Yep.
And now we just want to check to see if the array is empty, which I believe Sam Joseph just called this method on the array object. And let's see. That's probably returns a Boolean, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think
uh,
so.
so let's see. I want to return 0 unless array empty. That's what I want to do. I think that's good Ruby code, and I think that's the
Wait,
right thing to do.
wait. Let's see. Return 0 if array empty.
You're right. You're right. Okay. Return 0 if array empty, and if not, then it executes the second line, and we'll just return the value of array reduce. Okay, you're doing VI, and I'm an Emacs guy, so I don't remember the magic colon command to save. So you might have to save the file and run it for me.
Okay. I'll.
We've still failed.
Let's see. It might give us more information there. You see where it explains it there, Dan? What the failure was?
Expect sum to be 0.
Expected nil to respond to 0. Expected nil to respond to 0.
So it expects us to return nil, or
Expected nil. Yeah, it expected nil in response to what it sent. Okay. Expected nil. So an empty array is not nil. Let's see.
but look at the test it gives you to test. And I am still learning Ruby, but I read that as it expects a return of 0, not nil, for an empty array being passed in.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. 0. Expect if it sends an empty array, expect 0 back. Gotcha.
So why would it not? Did I call the wrong method?
Maybe is nil question mark a method? Maybe.
Is empty the right method? Is it like is empty or some other syntax? Use a different window and Ruby array methods or something.
I'm gonna bring up something called IRB. Have you worked with that before?
Interactive Ruby interpreter.
Yeah.
Yeah, only a little bit. I know the Python interpreter shell real well. No, it's just empty with a question mark, and it returns a Boolean true or false. So, is my Ruby syntax bad? Can I do return something if Boolean condition, or is that good Ruby?
I think it is.
Well, I can certainly.
Yeah, a long way.
I need an end, right? All right, what is it, like colon X or something? I don't know.
You want to do an else?
Save the file so you can run it, and you're in VI, which I don't use.
Let me run it to test.
Yeah. See if that passes.
Yep.
All right, so I just had bad Ruby there somehow. Okay, can we refactor that and make it nice like I was trying to make it? Let's see.
Yeah, I would have thought that the first way you had it was about as refactored as you can get.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't work, but I'm a Ruby newbie, so I'm not surprised. I am surprised by things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right.
Conditional.
Move on to the next test.
Okay. I'll maybe think about trying to make that prettier later on down the line. Let's go to the second test. All right. So basically our sum method works, and now we're trying to code max to sum, right? So what that's supposed to do?
Here, I'm going to run the test. So it'll give us. Here's a test. I'm running it.
What, did you pipe it through more?
Whoops.
Oh, you know, I can mouse up in this, and all right.
So.
Yeah, my mouse scroll wheel actually works to.
The scroll works?
Yeah, my mouse scroll will let me scroll up. It's doing it right now, anyway.
Are you using Mac or PC?
No, Windows.
All right. There it is. Should max to sum should be defined. It's already past that. Returns the correct sum.
Okay, but there's another file that actually tells us what we're supposed to do with that function. I might have to poke around in my other tabs and find where I had that up. Oh, I think it was in my Cloud 9. Yeah, all right. Define a method max to sum array, which takes an array of integers as an argument and returns the sum of its two largest elements. For an empty array, it should return 0. For an array with just one element, it should return that element. Run the associated test via whatever. Okay, so we're adding the two largest elements, and if we have fewer than 2, then we have to deal with that gracefully. So what's the first test we have to pass here? Return correct sum. So I just have to work on the arbitrary case and then worry about the other ones. Well, first, let's grab the number of arguments in the array. So I don't know what a good variable name is in Ruby. My len is it len, or I think in Ruby it's length?
Yeah, length works.
I think it's length, it's len in Python. So then we can, I'll leave the parsing of that, or dealing with that and saying if that's less than 2 for you to do on the next test, but I'll try to pass the first one. So so now I want to iterate over that array and store my largest 2 elements, I think. I can get my largest one, it probably has a max function. Yeah, okay. So the cleanest way to do it might be to get the max, remove that from the array, and then get the max of what's left, and those are my largest 2. So so I need to go back to my Ruby array documentation, Ruby array methods, get the one that is their max. Really?
Here, another way, because we need to get the two highest ones, right? Not just the highest.
Yep. My strategy was going to be to grab the highest off, actually alter the array to remove that, and then do that again. The other way would be to manually iterate over the array and store your highest and your next highest and update stuff with some complicated logic. But that seems like too much work.
Yeah, there is something in Ruby called sort.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you can sort it. That's a good idea.
And we could
you sort it and then slice the array. I'm sure Ruby has some sort of array slice. All right, so my len is it? Oh, no, not my len. I want array 2 is array dot sort. And do I need a bang there? It probably.
I mean, yeah, if you want to.
No, actually,
well, I think no, you don't need a bang if you're assigning it to a different.
Yeah. I think the bang actually will alter array.
Right.
Whereas we can just keep array around if we want to do that. So we could probably use less memory if we used the bang and just kept the array as the only array variable we dealt with. But this will work. All right. So it's going to sort, and then I probably want to reverse that in place, so I can just grab the first 2 elements rather than the last 2.
Yeah, although there is a shortcut in Ruby where you can grab the last one and the second to last one.
Is it -1 and -2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's less processing time to do that one. So if I just do array2 minus 1 plus array2 minus 2, let it Ruby evaluate that expression, that should pass the initial test.
Yeah, I don't guess we need we don't need length in that case since we're doing it this way.
Well, not yet, but you're about to need it in a moment. So.
All right, let me save that.
Yeah, just run that one. I predict it'll pass the first one and fail on the second. I put the mylen up there when I was thinking about manually iterating over it before I came up with the briefer way.
Works. Okay, that one's passed. Return 0. Next one. See the next one. Return 0 if array is empty.
All right, so you can code the solution to that one.
We can use the same as before, I guess. All right, try that.
All right.
Whoops, that's not right. Whoops, I forgot to do through. Okay, so we passed that. Last one is returns value of the element if just one element.
Okay, you want me to do that or you want to do it?
I guess you can go ahead.
All right, so this is where we can check this, and we can probably simplify the mylen, or if array equals empty, and just use mylen. I mean, here I can do if mylen is equal to 1, then I just return array, array 0. And, oh, actually, I do have to explicitly return that, don't I? So that should pass the test, but I think we can take these first two conditionals and just say if mylen is less than 2. Well, actually, no, it's not going to make it any easier, is it? Because within that conditional, you need another conditional to determine if your array is empty. So,
want to get this pass, and then we can refactor if we want to.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to refactor significantly here, but I think that should pass. What? It didn't?
Value of the element if just one. Oh, well, here. Oh, I see what you're saying. If mylen equals 1, return. Huh.
Or array indices still start from 0 in Ruby, right? They didn't change that on me.
Correct.
Okay.
If just one element. So the first one's empty, 0. If my here, Dan, 1 second. I gotta switch locations in the house. 1 second.
No problem.
I have a laptop. I'm attached to my television to make the screen bigger, but I'm gonna go to the laptop. 1 second. It shouldn't affect anything. Still with me?
Yep.
Okay. My audio won't be as good, but. Yeah.
Wow.
No. Okay, I'm back. Still there, Dan?
Yeah, I'm still here. I still don't understand why that code I just added did not do what I think it should have done, though.
Type error. Run it again. See if it seems like it's cutting off the error message. Here we go. Nil can't be coerced into fixed number.
So it's a type error.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it didn't fail on this. It failed on the line below.
Oh.
So somehow we passed in one element and it didn't actually return on line 18. It tried to return on line 21, and of course it couldn't do that. So why does the return on line 18 not execute? Is my len not actually 1? It's at this point that I would I'd use debug printfs or something, or
go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know if we run that, assuming that we get text output to our shell, then that should at least give us some information about how the control flow is working in our program. All right. I get 1. I get in the conditional, but it didn't fail the test now. Right? So my code was fine. We didn't save the file before we ran it or something like that, I think.
Oh, maybe.
All right, I'm going to get rid of my prints.
Ready?
All right, and I think we're done with that function. So let's see, the next one, sum to n question mark, 2 arguments, takes an array of integers and an additional integer argument, and returns true if any 2 elements in the array of integers sum to n. Huh. That's non-trivial to implement, isn't it? I wonder if they mean two distinct elements. They probably do. So the brute force way would be to put a nested loop and check so long as you're not trying to add together the same element twice. Add it together and check to see if you meet your target. And if you do, you just immediately return true. And if you get to the end, you return false. If we're smart, we can set up the loop so that you're not checking A plus B and then later B plus A. But I can't think of a better way to do it.
Yeah, I was just reading a question too. If any 2 elements in the array. Wow. Okay. So I'm just curious, Dan, when I'm reading this problem off GitHub, you you see what I'm reading, or you don't see?
Right now, I'm looking at your Cloud9. If I pop over into the Hangout, I do not see your screen shared at the instant. So no, I don't think I see what you're reading.
Okay, so Cloud9 is almost like something separate where whenever I go read something else, you're not prohibited from seeing the code on Cloud9.
Correct. Yeah,
Oh,
I have your Cloud9 share in a completely separate browser tab than Google Hangout.
cool. All right, so let's see. Um, you use each in Python?
No, they have different ways of iterating over arrays. But
Okay, that's the most common one in Ruby. So
we're going to need a nested loop, though. We want to go the first outside loop over the whole array, and the second one we want to go from element 0 to the location of our first array, not inclusive,
the outside loop will be,
over the whole array,
the
right?
inside loop will be +1.
So what I do, if you have an array like 1 through 3, your
Uh-huh.
outside loop will go 1, 2, 3, and your inside loop will go the first time. It won't execute at all because you'll say 0 to 1 minus 1 or so, well, whatever, 0 to 0 minus 1 or something. And the second time, and the third time it'll go 0, 1. So you're basically comparing the outside loop. You start with 1, and there's nothing less than 1, so you have no comparison. And the outside loop goes to 2, loop goes to 1, so you compare 2 and 1. And then your outside loop goes to 3, and your inside loop goes 1, 2. So you can end up comparing all 3 pairs. Did I say that well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this will iterate through.
Yeah.
Then what you're saying is that we want an inside loop.
Um, I think the problem with doing it that way is that you don't have the array index. You just have the element when you iterate that way, right?
Yeah, there is something called. I forget which one comes first, but
Each with index. All right, I still have the array documentation loaded up. It's just each underscore index, I think.
okay.
And that's index and then block is what I'm seeing. Well, I'm not sure I'm interpreting this correctly.
Each index. Actually, enumerable. Excuse me. Yeah, it's actually not that one. It's each with it's in something called enumerable modules for
Oh,
Ruby. And let's see the item, then index. Okay, so this is how it would look. Whoops. And each with index, and then item and then index. Item and then index. Okay, so now we have the element will be X and the item index number will be I.
Yeah, and you're going to want an inner loop as well.
Okay. Same type of setup?
Well, yeah, I think so, but you're going to want different item and different index, and then you're going to immediately just proceed if you don't have like J greater than I or something like that.
Okay, so you're saying
index do, yeah, like y comma j or something like that, just to.
Okay.
I don't know. Does Ruby use INJ like C does for looping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much.
Okay.
So you're saying here that we'd want to.
So we don't want to do anything in this loop unless one of these variables is strictly greater than the other, and we just have to pick which is which. Say I don't know. Say I has to be greater than j.
And that's the index, right?
The index, yeah, right.
I greater than j.
So that'll prevent us from comparing element 0 with element 0 and trying to add it to itself to reach our target number.
Gotcha.
And it will prevent us from comparing two different things twice. So if we already know a plus b doesn't add up to our target number, we don't need to bother with b plus a.
Okay.
So in Python, there's a keyword called continue that basically means go to the next iteration of whatever loop you're on.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's the same thing in Ruby.
There's something. Don't use it very much. Let's see, Ruby.
I mean, you could just put an if there and say,
right.
If I greater than j, execute some stuff and just leave it at that.
Okay.
Which might be the simplest thing to do.
Okay. It looks like there is something called next. What you're saying, if I is greater than j.
Yeah, we can just do that and then drop down and end both loops in the if statement, and everything goes inside the if, and then we're pretty much good. So well, other than our turns, I guess.
Put the if, move it from where it currently is?
No, you're good. You just need to put your code in there and have 3 ends in there, 1 for the if and 2 for each of the loops. And you're not going to put anything, I think, separating out those 3 ends. You'll just have a return false after the 3rd end, but before the end for the method, and possibly a return true inside the if statement.
Return true here?
Well, you'll do some other checks and eventually return true.
Okay. All right. So if I is greater than j, which means that the first time around I will be 0, and then j will be 0. So first time around.
Yep. So it won't execute.
Okay. So then it'll go to j will be 1. So this time it will. And we want to add x and y at that point.
Yeah, you want to see if x and y are equal to n, right?
Yep. So,
and as soon as we get that, we can return true from the function and not worry about anything else.
Okay. So is this going to be another if statement?
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Okay. Return
true, right? And
is that it for this?
Yep. There you go.
Try it.
A couple more ends. The only last thing you need is outside that end. That means you got all the way through the loop, and you never had found a pair that added up to your target, so you have to return false.
Okay, before this last one? Oh, no.
No, right where you just, yeah, right there, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Assuming your ends all match up, which I think they do.
Yeah.
So I think that's our function right there.
All right, let's give it a try.
So it probably passed in some wacky thing to make us fail, or what?
I don't know why I can't control the console. Do you want to? Is your console look okay? Oh, I know. I forgot to do the more. Never mind.
I was trying to use my mouse wheel and it wasn't letting me. But.
Okay, so should we define failed classifies valid binary numbers?
That's not the right function.
Oh, it's not?
That's binary multiple of 4, and we're working on sum to n question mark.
Oh, I jumped ahead. So, hey, Dan, were we still in max to sum? No, we were in sum to
We're
n.
in sum to n.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so it's passing the first 3 tests at least, right?
Yep. Okay.
Are there further tests after the more?
I'm trying to get there. Nope, they all passed.
All right, so we wrote a function that passed all tests on the first try. I'm not sure if that's agile or not, but
I don't know. I could have made it any simpler. All right. So what does that mean? We're on to that's
on the next thing.
all, that's all of section 1, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to section 2. You got time?
Yeah, I think so. It's 20 after 4 where I am.
Yeah, me too. Where are you at? Where are you at, by the way?
I'm just outside Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, I'm in Atlanta, or just outside Atlanta, actually. Okay. I want to go. Keep going.
Yeah, I guess so. There's some risk that my 8-year-old and my wife will come running in and remind me I need to start dinner, but probably not for another hour or so. So.
All right. All right. So let's go back to the screen here. Let me go.
Check documentation on string and regular expressions.
Oh, well. Okay. So let me just stick a test in here. All right, I'll try to take a stab at this. So it's just saying hello in the name. Try that. Failed.
I think you might be just forgetting a comma after hello.
Oh, gotcha. Awesome. All right,
All right, that was easy, huh?
Yeah. All right, so copy the next test.
All right, next one. Returns true if it starts with a constant and false otherwise. Val is just AEIOU, and be careful about case. All right.
And careful for non-letters.
Yep. I think we can probably assume we're being passed a string here, but we probably shouldn't assume that the string has a non-empty length. So let's see, I need to look up string methods. String has length, just like that. Okay. I wonder if it has a method that's just empty or something.
A method that tells you if it's empty?
I guess I could do this. Right? Does that work?
Yeah, I think it does.
If it's empty, it doesn't start with a consonant, right? Right. All right. So now we know we're dealing with a non-empty string, so we can now grab the first element, which is probably done that way.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's probably still an object that's of type string, and so we can call the string method to lowercase it. I don't know if that's the right one.
I think it's called downcase in
downcase.
Ruby.
There is a downcase, yeah. Okay. Okay. And the ugliest way to do this, although this is ugly code that makes me cringe, I can have this massive if statement and say that if it's equal to A, or if it's equal to E, oh boy. In Python, I would set up an array of vowels and see if my first letter is a member of my array. You know, this is so ugly, even though I know it'll work. I'm gonna write what I do in Python, and I'll figure out how to convert it to Ruby in a second. All right, so this is suspicious. I don't know if you can do that in Ruby. And the syntax is almost certainly wrong. So I probably want to be calling a method on the array object. So I probably want to do something like that instead is my guess. But that doesn't look real good either. So Ruby array methods again, my documentation, and see what I have that will work. I don't seem to have a method in the array object.
No, yeah, there's no. I know there's no in.
So how do you check to see if an element is a member of the array?
If we're talking about an array, we can use the include method.
Include, all right.
Include question mark. Trying to remember what the format, or look at the format.
All right, I found the documentation. I include object. All right, I see it. So, so I just need to do this. So if my first let, which is downcase, is included in this array of my vowels, then my string started with a vowel, which means it was not a consonant. I can return false, and otherwise I return true. So I think that'll work. I don't think it's the prettiest code I've ever written, but I think that'll at least pass the initial tests.
Wait, I was thinking of include. Oh, I see. I see you defined first letter up there. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So I think you can save that and test it.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Works on the empty strings. I probably should have left that off. I was getting ahead of myself. But
Oh, right.
works on non-letters failed. So all right, you can fix that one.
Oh, is it the second question?
I see right now a failed test.
Non-letters. Non-letters. I gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Non-letters.
So I headed off one possibility, but not another.
Okay.
All right. So all I did was return false if it's A, I, O, U. Instead, maybe we should return true if it's any consonant and false otherwise, because that'll take care of it if we
Oh, right.
throw in a percent or a 3 or something, right? Let's reverse our logic.
So we're going to change this return to false to true?
Well, I'd return true, but you'd also have to change that array, A, E, I, O, U, to the array of 21 different consonants.
Oh. God, there's got to be a quicker way in Ruby.
You know, is there a string include method?
I don't think there is. You can check though.
Yeah, I'm going to check for it. Because if there is, then it's not too hard to write a 21 character string. It does define one. Yeah, it does. So let's not mess with an array. Sorry,
you can use include with a string.
Yeah. So all we need to do here. All right. Did I get 21 of them? Those all the consonants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have to switch these. That's prettier code.
Let me try it. Whoops.
Yay.
All right.
Oh, I think I butted into that one. That was supposed to be yours, wasn't it? Sorry.
All right. All right. What's next? It takes a string. Whoa.
If the string represents a binary number that is a multiple of 4. So we first need to check to see if it's a valid binary number. So we'd probably do that by checking every single character and seeing if it's anything other than a 0 or 1, right?
So wait, we're checking to see if. Wait.
So we get passed in some string, and the only way we can make sense of it is if it's only has zeros and ones, because then we can interpret it as a binary number. If it has any character that's not a 0 or a 1, then we can barf for return.
Oh, I see. Okay, because I was picturing letters here. All right.
Well, we're not actually being passed in the number; we're being passed in as a string, but it's zeros and ones, right? And then if it's a multiple of 4, I think you can just check to see if the last 2 digits are zeros for that to work, right? For binary number. I'm pretty sure that's correct in binary math.
Oh, yeah, binary math, man. How that works. Oh, I see 0, 1, 0. Okay. So what were you saying, Dan, about how the arithmetic would work?
If you have a valid binary number, I'm pretty sure anything that ends in 00 is going to be a multiple of 4. Because the very last digit in a binary number is if it's even or odd, and the next one is if it's, well, it's the multiple of 2 above that, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So after we've confirmed that it's a binary number, we're going to look at the just the last 2 digits.
Yeah, you might want to check that it's non-zero, because I'm not sure if you get past in like just 0000 or something, and maybe that doesn't count as a multiple of 4. Is 0 a multiple of 4? I would say no.
So we have to do two parts to the test. One to see if the last if it is 0, and then second of all, if it's not 0, then whether the last 2 digits are 00.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have several checks. First, if you got passed in something with it's all zeros and ones, because you can't make sense of it otherwise.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to check to make sure that it's at least 3 digits long, and if it's shorter, then you just deal with hard code the solutions or something.
Okay.
And then you check if it's 0, because you could get passed in a string with just like 6 zeros in it or something.
Yeah.
And assuming all those pass, then you can just check the last 2 digits and see if they're both 0.
Okay. So if do we need to convert it to integers or no? We just need to check.
I think you should leave everything in string, probably. Although I guess one way to do it would be to write your own binary to decimal conversion, or maybe there's one built into Ruby, and then just use the modulus operator to see if you get a multiple of 4.
Oh wow! So what would we look under for that? Ruby.
Well, I can look it up, but let's see. Ruby binary to decimal.
You see that on Stack Overflow?
I am looking on Stack Overflow right now, but on a completely separate computers. So I'm sure you can't see that screen unless you're using my webcam and looking at the reflection off my glasses.
Oh, okay. So if you convert it to integer and put a base 2, that's how you convert it to a binary.
Yeah, and it looks as if there's this notation like 0 times 0a or something like that is some way of Ruby's notating binary numbers, or
All right. So if
yeah, I think you can probably just use string 2i base 2.
I would convert the whole string to a binary.
Yeah. Oh, you already typed it. Okay. I was looking at the other computer. I wasn't even saying you had already done that.
So that would I mean, without, I guess, some checks on it, but that would, assuming it was zeros and ones, then.
So I think bin was just going to be an integer, and I'm not sure it will be stored as a binary or anything. It'll just be the value of the integer that you can express in any arbitrary base. Would be able to do if bin modulo 4 is equal 0, then we have a multiple of 4, right?
Yep. They're just looking for return true.
Yeah, return true. Otherwise, return false. And we're gonna have some checks we need to put in, because you could get past something that's not a binary
right
number, or it could get past 0 or a negative number and have to deal with that gracefully. I don't know.
All right. So the two things we're looking to check then are whether it's a not. It could be, we could have been past something that's not a 0 or 1, or we could have been past.
If any character in there is anything other than a 0 or 1, then we don't have a binary number.
Okay. What about doing a regular expression?
That might be a good way to do it. My regex foo is real rusty. I haven't really used them heavily for about 15, 20 years.
There's a good here. Let me show you this site. It's awesome. I think a lot of Ruby programmers use it. It's called Rubular. RUBULAR.com. It's like a playground for regular expressions. Plus, they give you all the.
Yeah. All right. I just pulled it up.
Quick references down there at the bottom of the screen too.
Oh, I see. You can even test it.
Yeah. So if we wanted to make sure it's all just zeros and ones. That gets that, and then if we put in there, that wouldn't match then. So let me just tell you what I typed in Rubular.
Oh, you typed in Rubular. I was going to say I didn't see anything. My guess is that it would be something like, whoops, there's a pipe there, not a comma. So that's 0 or 1, right?
Yeah.
And you need this to be exactly the length of our string somehow. So somewhere in here, you need to.
Well, we don't need the.
Or something.
Here, here's what I was thinking was this. This will check to see. I think this checks to see if everything is zeros and ones.
Okay.
So if S, actually, I might have to convert this to integers first. If, let's see.
Well, you're dealing with the regular expressions. That's a string thing, right?
Yeah, again, Dan.
I don't think you typically use regular expressions to work on ints, right? So despite the fact I don't know them very well, I'm pretty sure you don't need to convert S to.
Right, you're right. If, just trying to remember what the symbol is for egg. So if the string that we're being passed is zeros and ones, then if I'm right here, then this will return true.
Well, actually, we want to return false if that's not true.
Okay, so it'll be the opposite.
And if it is true, we want to execute all the code we just wrote.
Okay.
I guess we need to return false right at the end.
Okay.
Which works if either we didn't satisfy a regular expression or if we didn't pass our test.
I want to tell you something. In Minecraft,
Okay, let me try it.
villagers, because the zombies figured out how to get into the house, so there's a big orange spot in one of the houses because I needed to break down a wall so the villagers could get out
Awesome.
to safety.
All right.
And I also spawned 1,000 million villagers by accident in there.
I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong from that. All right, sorry about that.
No, that was welcome relief. I think it passed. If I'm reading this right. Works on empty. Well, that's... Is that how you see it?
I see it passing the test, yeah. I'll admit to not fully understanding the regular expression despite looking at Rubular on another screen, but I can deal with that later. Everything else in there I understand. The one check we didn't put in, though, that I'm curious about is right now, if you pass in a string with all zeros, it'll return true.
Right.
And I'm not sure if it should, but I guess they didn't put that test in, so maybe we shouldn't worry about it.
Oh, that's what it was. They didn't put that test in. Yeah, good point. All right. Next one.
All right. What is the next one?
Oriented basics.
Define a class book in stock, which represents a book with an ISBN number, price, attributes.
Okay.
All right. That's it. We just need to basically set up the class.
Yeah. It just they represent a book with a.
All right. I think that'll be pretty fast.
Okay.
Do we do this right in rubyintro.rb?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, it's already there. Class book in stock. All right. Let's see. You wrote the last one, right? So should I?
Sure.
All right. So I need initialization. I think is initialize.
Yep. Yes.
And we want to take an ISBN and what else? We need the.
It was a
price.
Price. Yeah.
We want to set 2 instance variables. Okay. And then we need to deal with the argument error if the ISBN is empty string or if the price is less than or equal to 0.
Is that? Oh, well, you want to run this first test then? Because that's the first.
Oh, I was just going to do this method and then tell you to run the test, I think. So if we passed empty string to ISBN, or if
Hold on, Dan. I think the first test they give you, I think you already solved it.
oh, okay.
So let me run it real quick.
We didn't make the ISBN and price accessible from outside. So up here, I need to do this thing. Can I do those both on one line? No?
I think so. I think you need a colon right before the I in ISBN and a colon.
Oh, to make them symbols?
Yeah. And then
right.
I think you can put a comma between them and you can put them in the same line, I think. Yeah.
That's certainly cleaner code, isn't it? All right, see if that passes the first test then.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, do I need that as a uppercase ISBN, just a different variable number than they want, or variable name than they wanted?
Okay, maybe, yeah. Want me to fix it?
I'm reading their instructions right now. Include the proper getters and setters for these attributes.
I think you're right, since in the error it shows it all caps.
Right. So the second one, though, should set price, and price is already in there, right? So I don't understand why that didn't fail.
What you're saying.
Well, let's make these quick changes. We'll leave price as it is. So save that and try it.
All right. If not, then maybe I'm wrong about the comma separated thing. Price is good.
So now I can set price, but it still can't set ISBN. And that was bizarre because I just changed the capitalization to ISBN, right?
Yeah.
So I have that's completely mysterious to me why that occurred.
Plus, I wonder if it interprets it as a consonant or a constant. If it's all caps, because that's usually how you. Oops.
Well, can we look at the test and see what it's testing for? I mean, we could easily try to figure out if it's looking for a different capitalization than we've got.
Yep.
Expect book dot all lowercase.
Yeah. So that's
yeah. All right. So lowercase was right.
Right. Overlooking something in these directions. Let's see. Defining. Weird. me run it again since you changed it back.
Yeah. So price is still okay. ISBN is barfing when they try to set it somehow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe try 2 separate lines on this, just because we weren't absolutely certain on it.
Yeah.
You're sure that you need symbols there?
Yeah, that's the only way I've seen it, but
Okay, I'll try that. Still failed.
that's weird. IRB.
I'm not understanding this.
Let's see.
I don't see any sort of syntax errors.
Yeah, I just ran this in IRB and it's just fine.
All right. I'm looking at the test now in another window.
Okay.
Yeah, it calls up uses the new method of the class. What do they call it? The general class. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, it calls bookandstock.new, and then its arguments are string ISBN1, and then the float 33.8, and it stores that in a variable, an instance variable book. and it's failing when it then tries to get at book.isbn, which should be accessible, I think, with our attribute accessor. They're doing something dumb. Not that I see. Could we be possibly dealing with something that the environment does not support features of Ruby that we're trying to use, like attribute accessor or something like that? And do we need to manually do the get and set methods, maybe?
Yeah, we can try that. Hold on.
I wouldn't think that would be the case, but we have simple code. I don't see an error in it, and I've encountered situations with other languages that people implement Python in a web browser, implement it in Java or something, and you try to do something that works in Python, it doesn't work there because they haven't implemented that piece of Python or so. I don't know. But we're dealing with a shell, right? I mean,
Dan, it passed. It passed.
It passed. Okay.
Yeah. I think of course, I saved it after price. I think something didn't save, but anyway.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Good.
That's a lot better news because I really didn't understand why it was.
We've exhausted every other possibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was starting to really hand wave there. All right. So the next thing to do then is to we had to reject arguments if the ISBN were the empty string or if price was less than or equal to 0, I think.
Okay. All right. So constructor. There's a first argument price.
It should raise argument error if either of those are true. All right.
Or if the price is less than. All right. So what's the word I'm thinking of here? Validate.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm going to copy over some sample code that's not really relevant to this, but do you see that, Dan?
Yep, shows you how to raise the argument error.
So unless,
So you probably want to do this inside the initialize method.
makes sense. Unless, and what was the first?
Well, the first one is if ISBN is an empty string. So I do that inside an if, I think, rather than an unless.
Okay.
And you want to raise two separate argument errors, or just one. I mean, you could do if ISBN is equal to the empty string or price is negative, then raise an argument error, or you could check each of these separately.
Here, oh, you're saying use it like an or?
It's probably better to do two separate ones, because then you can give two more descriptive separate argument error messages.
If ISBN equals empty string.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing they ask for is if it's empty string, you need to barf, and if the price is negative, you need to barf.
Did it was there a message that they wanted you to?
Excuse me. Thought I was going to sneeze and didn't. All right.
No.
It just says you should raise argument error. It does not say what message it wants.
Okay.
I think it's just good coding practice. You probably want separate descriptive messages. So you'd probably want argument error new. You must enter an ISBN string or something. I don't know. Or pass an ISBN string. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And then a separate, you're setting a separate if.
Yeah, I would say then a separate if price is less than or equal to 0. Because then you can give feedback to whatever is calling this method, and give it a descriptive string for exactly why you raised an argument error.
Mm-hmm. Want to try like that, Dan?
Yeah, I think that should pass the test.
Actually, do I have the right test down? Oops. Awesome.
All right. Now we just need to add that last method. I think it's the last thing we got to do, right?
Yep. Include a method.
All right. Turns the price formatted properly.
Well, let me get rid of. Huh, it passed it. It gave me an error, even though I had this junk in here.
Huh.
Okay. So it formats it, put the dollar sign. So we're assuming that we're getting a number.
I don't think we take an argument. We use the internal value set for price and output a string.
Gotcha. Price. So, Dan, in your mind, is it as simple as adding the 00 or?
No, because it could have a. It could just be an integer and a dollar value, or they could have an amount to some odd amount of sets. So I think what we need to do is string formatting.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking up right now, just type some on the next line we can use. But I think that if you format a float like that, it will return it to 2 decimal points.
Okay, so you want to do that before this line?
Yeah, we could set like an output string and set that equal to format the price through this tag or something. I'm not sure how to do that in Ruby. I'm trying to make sense of what I just pulled up when I googled Ruby format float.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think if you do that, you're going to get a string that's the price with 2 decimal points out. So if we do this, I don't know, mine whatever, horrible variable name, and just do that.
Okay.
I think that might work. This is all garbage here, right? Actually, three lines of it.
Yeah, I gotta go double check that. What
Yeah,
what is the use of price there at the end, dude, Dan, on the first line?
Right here.
Yeah.
So this is a formatting string. This tells you I'm passed in a float and I want to output a string that's formatted to 2 decimal points. Just I don't know, different languages have different formatting conventions. Like C uses a particular one, and Python actually uses C's. Ruby's looks a little different, but I think I can make sense of this. This basically means give me a string that has 2 digits after the decimal point. So if you get passed in, if you pass in a number like 5, it'll pass out a string 5.00. If you pass in like 5.12345, it'll pass out 5.12, I think.
Okay.
But you need to know what number is being passed into that. So it looks as if this is how to do it from the web page I'm looking at in Ruby. I'm not certain that's true, but
is price in that line represent the variable?
yeah. Oh, so we need all right. We need that, don't we?
There you go. Okay. Want to try it?
You can try it. I'm not certain the syntax is gonna be right, but I know I'm trying to do a reasonable thing.
Okay.
So did I format it correctly?
So first one, expected. And you saw that for Ruby, Dan, what you just put in there?
I've looked at 2 separate web pages, and they have syntaxes that are real close to that. The second one has like a bracket around the argument, but it has a more complicated expression there. And this is a classic string formatting thing. I mean, that's
Okay.
That's pretty clear to me that we want to figure out how to do string formatting in Ruby, which you use all over the place. So it's good to know how to do that in the language you want to code in. So
right.
Yeah, the only difference between what I've got and what I'm looking at is that most of them use double quotes instead of singles. Otherwise, this should work, I think. But why don't we put in a debug printf and see what we get spat out and try to run that. We'll see what we're getting and make sure we're getting what we think we're getting, and then try to figure out why we're failing any tests. Did you actually see the output of the debug puts?
I didn't. Try again. Not there.
So it's possible we bugged out before I got to that line. Like maybe I have a syntax error in my formatting line. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, there you go. At method 3395.
So that's good, right? 33.
That's good. Yeah. Add method 110. Add method 20. So we're correct. So why are we failing the test then? Oh, we weren't. It was another file saving thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's this idea of having to double click back on the top before I save it. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's get rid of our puts. All right. So you want to save that file?
All right. It's green. Turn green. You know what? I think part of it is with two people. Like if you were in control, then I have to regain control to save it. I think that's been the issue.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Awesome.
There we go. I think we're all done.
So how do we do this now?
I have no idea. I would assume that you have to send me the URL or your YouTube link or something so I can post the pair programming video for whatever they want for that. And I have to grab this file somehow from you all. I think I'd probably copy paste the whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead and do that just to be double sure that we grab it.
I have a Python editor open, which I'm going to use to transfer Ruby. That's somewhat perverse, maybe. All right, that is open on my desktop.
Tell me when you can give up. I'm going to also copy it just to be safe.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. So what were you saying, Dan? You thought that I need to send you a URL?
So when you terminate the screencast or whatever it is on your what is it, Google Hangouts, assuming that you link that successfully to your YouTube account, it should, after a few minutes or an hour or so, post into your YouTube videos with a URL.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you just need to cut and paste that, copy paste that URL as evidence so that they can have the video working together. But we'll both need that URL. So
me email it to you?
Yeah, I guess as soon as it appears, if you email it to me, then I can just use it.
Let me get your email again.
All right. It's Daniel.c.hennessy, HENNESSY @gmail.
HENNESS.
Y.
Okay. Gmail.
Yep.
I'm sure I'll have a record somewhere anyway. Daniel.c.hennessy@gmail.com.
That works.
All right. Well, hopefully I recorded it correctly, and I'll get you this URL, and then as to the actual code, I thought I remember we have to copy it to our computers, and then.
Oh, right. I already just did that, so I guess you need to do the same thing.
Okay. I'll figure out how to do that on my end. All right. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Yep. Thanks. Good working with you, man.
Yeah, likewise. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.